Hello, and welcome to Warrior SuperCast, the podcast for the Wittenwood School District, highlighting those superstars of the district. I'm very fortunate. I love this time of year because we are closing out the school year, and with me, as always, is Karina Denny from the Wittenwood School District. Karina, glad you could join us.
Thank you so much, Jason. Happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm glad that you were able to be here because, again, like I said, this is my favorite time because we get to bring, as we say, we're highlighting the superstars, and it's normally those faculty members who are making it big, but there's one component that we love the best, is that the students.
It's our students and our graduates.
Absolutely.
Our alumni.
And this is where this comes in, this piece, and today we are very fortunate to be joined with Colette Adewara from the class of 2015. Glad you could join us.
Thank you.
Now we're going to make this easy on you, so
Okay.
don't feel too bad, but of course, we kind of sat back and talked a little bit beforehand. You are a graduate of 2015 and going to Wright State University, correct? And what made you decide, let's start with, what was your decision from that point, and could you make some comparisons or some parallels from your experience there to your experience at Winton Woods going with the AG, because at that point you had been at the AGS program.
Yes. So I came into AGS, and then when I was about to graduate, I actually wanted to go to Capital University, but the money aspect of it was out of my price range. So then I applied to Wright State, and I got accepted, and I attended there in August of 2015. And honestly, it was a very big transition because I'm used to a small town feel. I'm from Massachusetts. So the small town feel was an aspect that I was looking for when I applied to Capital, and when that money aspect was difficult, it made it difficult also to kind of transition to Wright State, but I still kind of went with it. I would say kind of the difference between Wright State and AGS is just the aspect of size and different perspectives of who you encounter, because everybody has different stories and backgrounds. So you really don't know who you're meeting, but it's also about putting down kind of your comfort level and going out and talking to different people and getting to know who you're with, because the same thing kind of happens in high school, it's just a smaller scale. And then I would just say also workload, just a lot of, when you're in college it's a lot of work, but also in high school I think what really helped is AGS had a lot of work, but it made the workload in college a lot easier.
Okay, so would you say that it was more of a preparatory to get you to that point where the projects or the ideas were there in AGS, and now you can take those key components that you learned and actually apply them here? And do you believe that those will propel you forward when you graduate?
The one thing I really liked about AGS was the global aspect, because I have parents that are not from the United States. They're both from Africa, so I always like looking at the global aspect, and I always use that in college as well. I kind of always take that aspect and apply it to my papers or presentations and kind of look at that. And another thing also is just language. Being required to take a language also helped in college because I continued that and ended up taking an additional 2 years of Spanish. So just things like that, and I just think also the communication aspect of it. I'm a shy person, but when it comes time to working on my grades and things like that, I'm never afraid to go and speak to the professor, because I know if I can't communicate with people in class, then I'll go and speak with the professor. And it also shows that you're willing to take the steps to be successful in class, because you're one of many faces, and so if you don't make your face known or don't take the initiative to do well, you're not going to have that support to do well.
It sounds like there are many components to your AGS learning that you've taken forward. What would you say is, I would say what I'm seeing is those great points that you're saying you're very shy. You again, we talked about this. You play that well, but you've taken that and what may become a weakness has become a strength for you, because there's some wonderful things that you've taken from your teachings at Winton Woods to Wright State, one of which is peer facilitation, you were saying.
Yeah, in the fall I'm going to be a peer mentor, and that is basically working with incoming freshmen, getting them acquainted to the first semester of college, getting them to properly register for classes, getting to know faces, assignments, getting them acquainted with books and assignments, things like that. And I honestly, for me, it's not even the aspect that it's being paid. I understand, what it's like to go into college and to feel lonely and to be alone because, I've dealt with it. I still kind of deal with it just because of my shyness aspect. But it's just helping students become comfortable and having different resources that they can reach out to because I wasn't even familiar with the majority of resources that are on our campus. So it's different things like tutoring, supplemental instruction, which is instruction outside of the classroom for certain classes such as Spanish or history, things like that. So it's just that aspect of helping people feel comfortable enough for them to make it through their first year of college and to continue being successful.
Do you believe that you'll take some things that you've learned at Winton Woods into this and pass that along to them as well?
Yes, I think just the aspect of communication again, it's helping you feel comfortable enough to, if you can't reach out to your professors, to reach out to your peers, becoming familiar with our campus and helping you move along and have, efficiency. Because, when you're at Winton Woods, it's not as big as a college campus, but you're still learning your way and finding your way around the school. It's the same thing with college. Also just aspects of asking for help and not always relying just on the professor or the teacher in that class and things like that. And also just presentation skills. How do you want yourself to be known? How do you want to present yourself? That's what also happens in college. You're presenting yourself to a new group of people. So it's aspects such as that Winton Woods taught me that I kind of bring to college and then hope to bring to other people.
That's a wonderful way to look at that as well. When you're looking forward, obviously, we don't all get to stay in college, which is the unfortunate thing. The world would be such a better place if we could. But obviously the workforce is calling to you as well. What do you see that you will have taken from Winton Woods, Wright State, and then out to the workforce?
I want to be a school counselor.
Okay.
And I just think all the aspects of college where you're branding yourself as something new, and then also in high school you're learning to build up your communication skills, your writing skills, and you're advancing them when you get to college. Just all those aspects tied together, it's something to help me help younger individuals and also just help them be successful. I come from a very diverse background, so I understand all the different aspects, having a low-income mother, a mother that's a single mother, the financial aspects, just things like that I'm learning in college right now, different resources that I can reach out to, speaking to my professors, things like that. It's all of that combined together to help me be successful in the workforce, but then also help other people.
Where do you, this is going to be a very interesting hypothetical question, but where do you think you would be had you not had the backing of AGS behind you?
I honestly feel like I would not be as successful because, again, I am a shy person, so I wouldn't have the resources or the confidence to reach out and to go and make certain decisions or actions that I would do now. Also just having better understanding of other people's backgrounds because, you don't typically take the time to learn about others' backgrounds and things like that. So I think having that makes you feel more sensitive to people that you don't know. Not even just sensitive, but having compassion for all types of people regardless of their backgrounds and things of that nature. Also, it was a really good opportunity to encourage me to want to go see the world, travel, do things like that. So I think all of those aspects were really, really beneficial to today.
Karina, usually when we're speaking, we usually talk about the projects, the learning aspect of things, but this is the first time I think we've heard more of that global aspect, the AGS part of it. Obviously, AGS has now morphed into our project-based learning with the new technology. What do you see is that merging still continuing? Are we going to have such bright people like Colette here?
Well, I'm sitting here listening to Colette, and she is such a great representative of the district. Clearly she's articulate, she's very intelligent, she is, she's got her agency, which is that work ethic. She's going out there and she's going to accomplish a lot. And then I think to this year and how we're going to be bringing project-based learning down to kindergartners. So in years to come, Colette, can you imagine what it's going to look like to have a student, go all the way through from kindergarten to 12th grade with all the new tech, the foundations of teaching that engages, a culture that empowers, outcomes that matter. So I'm very excited.
And following that warrior motto.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you were able to, and hopefully they're listening, the freshmen of the Winton Woods School District for this upcoming freshman class, what would you tell them as prospective students that you have obviously gone through the program, that you're ready to tell them, these are the things you need to look out for, these are the things I would hold on dearly to?
I would come in with an open mindset. I think a lot of the times people come in and they're like, oh, this is going to be easy, this. I wouldn't have that mindset, but I would come in with an open mind because you're going to be exposed to so many different things that maybe you didn't think you would be exposed to in high school. I would also say make sure that you manage your time properly because that will take you a long way. I can tell you right now, in high school, that was not my strong suit, and when I went to college, it got pretty difficult. I would say also that aspect, and also just taking the time to get to know people, reaching out and talking to people that you don't know. That's something I did not do in high school, and I struggled with that in college, still struggling with that now. I would just say have that foundation now, so that way when you go to college, you're prepared to reach out and do the things that you need to do to be successful. And then also not just thinking about yourself, the community aspect of AGS. Start now getting into community service. Don't look at it as a requirement. Look at it as you're doing something for someone other than yourself. And then when you go to college, it's simple things like that that will get you involved. And those are things that people notice in college. Not somebody that's always, seeking for the attention, but also looking to help other people and, move the university forward.
Listening to you speak, I know that you're ready for the world, but do you feel you're ready for the world?
Oh, no. No. I'm not ready, but, it's a time that will come, but it's just using the things that I learn every day, and whether it's being in the workforce, being on vacation, just going back to school in the fall, things like that, just building, I guess, myself up and my resume to help other people and to bring myself into the workforce.
I was just going to say that I have found that you have the secret to life, which is we are at our best when we're serving others.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And clearly, again, we always kind of bring that in, following that warrior motto. And the idea of what New Tech is also bringing. Right. And of course, granted, Colette did not get to see that, but it's those building blocks that were started obviously has pulled you through to a wonderful place in your life, and hopefully those will continue to pull you out of some harder places to bring you to a wonderful place in this world.
Yes.
Colette, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I think we could all sit and listen. We could all learn from you. Let's do that.
Right.
Karina, obviously, we like to end each podcast with some interesting news or upcoming events that are going on in the district. What's going on?
Oh, summertime is actually extremely busy time for central office. So one of the things that's coming up is we are going to have our third year of preschool and kindergarten jumpstart. So we take 2 half days on August 1st and 2nd. Mm-hmm. We bring, and you don't even have to register, no RSVPs. You show up at Primary North or Primary South, wherever your assigned school is, and you get to assign to a teacher, and you see what school's all about. Parents get an orientation with all of our departments there in the gym, and it's a really great way for students to get to know what school's like before the first day.
Do you think this is very beneficial? Obviously, if you're doing it again,
right.
Obviously you believe it is. Do you see that this in the students and, most importantly, the parents as well? Because involvement is key.
Right. Our surveys have shown every year, for both years, that the parents have very much appreciated it and said it's very helpful. For students the students are so excited, and it's always fun to work those 2 days. But then our teachers, we ask feedback from them, how was it then starting school year? Was it easy, or did you really get a jump start? And overwhelmingly, the response is we absolutely did. Students, it cuts down on the anxiety for students to ride the bus, because we take a bus ride to the library. So they get to know what the bus ride's like. They get to know kind of just the layout of the school, what's it like in the classroom. So it's been very beneficial for everyone involved.
And those dates again are?
August 1st and 2nd.
Excellent. And of course, not too far after that, school will be beginning. which is scary to think. Here we are thinking vacation right now, and here we are talking at the start of the new year. But it will be a very interesting year because of all of the new things that are coming on.
That's right.
So
it's exciting, but we do have a lot going on.
Makes sense. And of course, we will always keep you in contact with that information here on Warrior SuperCast. I have two wonderful guests with me. Colette, thank you for joining us as well.
No
and Karina, we'll see you again, of course.
Absolutely.
And of course, I hope to see you again as well. You have been watching and listening to the Warrior SuperCast, the podcast for the Wintonwood School District, highlighting the superstars of the district. Have a great summer. We'll see you next time.